unquestionable assurance of the honorableness of their owner, for she permitted him to lay his palm upon her forehead and feel her pulse. Apparently she had no fever. "How long have you been an ape?" asked the man. "Since I was a little girl, many, many years ago, and Korak came and took me from my father who was beating me. Since then I have lived in the trees with Korak and A'ht." "Where in the jungle lives Korak?" asked the stranger. Meriem pointed with a sweep of her hand that took in generously half the continent of Africa. "Could you find your way back to him?" "I do not know," she replied, "but he will find his way to me." "Then I have a plan," said the stranger. "I live but a few marches from here. I shall take you home where my wife will look after you and care for you until we can find Korak, or Korak finds us. If he could find you here, he can find you at my village. Is it not so?" Meriem thought that it was so, but she did not like the idea of not starting immediately back to meet Korak. On the other hand, the man had no intention of permitting this poor, insane child to wander further amidst the dangers of the jungle. From whence she had come or what she had undergone he could not guess, but that her Korak and their life among the apes was but a figment of a disordered mind he could not doubt. He knew the jungle well, and he knew that men have lived alone and naked among the savage beasts for years; but a frail and slender girl? No, it was not possible. Together they went outside. Malbihn's boys were striking camp in preparation for a hasty departure. The stranger's blacks were conversing with them. Malbihn stood at a distance, angry and glowering. The stranger approached one of his own men. "Find out where they got this girl," he commanded. The Negro thus addressed questioned one of Malbihn's followers. Presently he returned to his master.
"They bought her from old Kovudoo," he said. "That is all that this fellow will tell me. He pretends that he knows nothing more, and I guess that he does not. These two white men were very bad men. They did many things that their boys knew not the meanings of. It would be well, Bwana, to kill the other."
"I wish that I might, but a new law is come into this part of the jungle. It is not as it was in the old days, Muviri," replied the master. The stranger remained until Malbihn and his safari had disappeared into the jungle toward the north. Meriem, trustful now, stood at his side, Geeka clutched in one slim, brown hand. They talked together, the man wondering at the faltering Arabic of the girl, but attributing it finally to her defective mentality. Could he have known that years had elapsed since she had used it, until she was taken by the Swedes, he would not have wondered that she had half forgotten it. There was yet another reason why the language of The Sheik had thus readily eluded her, but of that reason she herself could not have guessed the truth any better than could the man. He tried to persuade her to return with him to his village, as he called it, or douar in Arabic, but she was insistent upon searching immediately for Korak. As a last resort he determined to take her with him by force rather than sacrifice her life to the insane hallucination which haunted her, but being a wise man he determined to humor her first, and then attempt to lead her as he would have her go. So when they took up their march it was in the direction of the south, though his own ranch lay almost due east. By degrees he turned the direction of their way more and more eastward, and greatly was he pleased to note that the girl failed to discover that any change was being made. Little by little she became more trusting. At first she had had but her intuition to guide her belief that this big Tarmangani meant her no harm, but as the days passed and she saw that his kindness and consideration never faltered, she came to compare him with Korak and to be very fond of him. But never did her loyalty to her ape-man flag. On the fifth day they came suddenly upon a great plain, and from the edge of the forest the girl saw in the distance fenced fields and many buildings. At the sight she drew back in astonishment. "Where are we?" she asked, pointing. "We could not find Korak," replied the man, "and as our way led near my douar, I have brought you here to wait and rest with my wife until my men can find your ape or he finds you. It is better thus, little one. You will be safer with us, and you will be happier." "I am afraid, Bwana," said the girl. "In thy douar they will beat me as did the Sheik, my father. Let me go back into the jungle. There Korak will find me. He would not think to look for me in the douar of a white man." "No one will beat you, child," replied the man. "I have not done so, have I? Well, here all belong to me. They will treat you well. Here no one is beaten. My wife will be very good to you, and at last Korak will come, for I shall send men to search for him." The girl shook her head. "They could not bring him, for he would kill them, as all men have tried to kill him. I am afraid. Let me go, Bwana." "You do not know the way to your own country. You would be lost. The leopards or the lions would get you the first night, and after all you would not find your Korak. It is better that you stay with us. Did I not save you from the bad man? Do you not owe me something for that? Well, then, remain with us for a few weeks at least, until we can determine what is best for you. You are only a little girl. It would be wicked to permit you to go alone into the jungle." Meriem laughed. "The jungle," she said, "is my father and my mother. It has been kinder to me than have men. I am not afraid of the jungle, nor am I afraid of the leopard or the lion. When my time comes I shall die. It may be that a leopard or a lion shall kill me, or it may be a tiny bug no bigger than the end of my littlest finger. When the lion leaps upon me or the little bug stings me, I shall be afraid. Oh, then I shall be terribly afraid, I know. But life would be very miserable indeed were I to spend it in terror of the thing that has not yet happened. If it be the lion, my terror shall be short of life, but if it be the little bug I may suffer for days before I die, and so I fear the lion least of all. He is great and noisy. I can hear him, or see him, or smell him in time to escape, but any moment I may place a hand or foot on the little bug and never know that he is there until I feel his deadly sting. No, I do not fear the jungle. I love it. I should rather die than leave it forever. But your douar is close beside the jungle. You have been good to me. I will do as you wish, and remain here for a while to wait the coming of my Korak." "Good," said the man, and he led the way down toward the flower covered bungalow behind which lay the barns and outhouses of a well ordered African farm. As they came nearer, a dozen dogs ran barking toward them. Gaunt wolf hounds, a huge Great Dane, a nimble footed collie, and a number of yapping, quarrelsome fox terriers. At first their appearance was savage and unfriendly in the extreme, but once they recognized the foremost black warriors and the white man behind them, their attitude underwent a remarkable change. The collie and the fox terriers became frantic with delirious joy, and while the wolf hounds and the Great Dane were not a whit less delighted at the return of their master, their greetings were of a more dignified nature. Each in turn sniffed at Meriem, who displayed not the slightest fear of any of them. The wolf hounds bristled and growled at the scent of wild beasts that clung to her garment, but when she laid her hand upon their heads and her soft voice murmured caressingly, they half closed their eyes, lifting their upper lips in contented canine smiles. The man was watching them, and he too smiled, for it was seldom that these savage brutes took thus kindly to strangers. It was as though in some subtle way the girl had breathed a message of kindred savagery to their savage hearts. With her slim fingers grasping the collar of a wolf hound upon either side of her, Meriem walked on toward the bungalow, upon the porch of which a woman dressed in white waved a welcome to her returning lord. There was more fear in the girl's eyes now than there had been in the presence of strange men or savage beasts. She hesitated, turning an appealing glance toward the man. "This is my wife," he said. "She will be glad to welcome you." The woman came down the path to meet them. The man kissed her, and turning toward Meriem, introduced them, speaking in the Arab tongue the girl understood. "This is Meriem, my dear," he said, and he told the story of the jungle waif in so far as he knew it. Meriem saw that the woman was beautiful. She saw that sweetness and goodness were stamped indelibly upon her countenance.